Avengers, Assemble. Welcome back to Sanders Presents. I'm Greg, and if you're enjoying the content we're producing, please consider following that link in the description below, patreon.com/Sanders Presents, to assemble with us on our Patreon and become an Avenger. Today, we have two tiers available on our Patreon, a $3 tier and a $5 tier. At that $5 tier, your name is added to our Avenger Memorial Hall of Fame. And in addition to that, Avenger Premium members also earn regular comic book drops. I want to thank my Avengers so much for their support, for their sponsorship. Legitimately, thank you all so much. I hope you're enjoying the comics. And again, it means a great deal because your sponsorship funds our content. So thank you. Okay. So we are going to get right into it. This is our weekly Q&A. We're going over the comments and we're taking some of your questions. Same way as always. I'm kind of there's a couple of questions here that I am kind of excluding just because I actually have some topics coming that are close to that. So we have a question on my hopes for Gotham Knights. I think that's a great question because I mean obviously we all have our hopes and our anticipations. You know, when you're anticipating a game, even more so. You know, if it's a game you're anticipating, you have a set of expectations. Now, obviously, you balance out those expectations and you don't let it get away from you because you can't hold a developer accountable for your own fantasies. Like if you create a fantasy of what something has to be, that doesn't mean that, you know, this group of people will have developed that same perspective. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no there's no like clear concept that you have versus perhaps what the developer's doing, which is so I'm excited. I have a lot of hopes. I have a lot of expectations. I have a lot of speculation. But I understand. I got to leave that at the door when I finally play the game. Obvious. I mean, like, for me, it really does. I mean, my hopes for Gotham Knights have already been fulfilled. I really wanted a co-op. I'm going to Batman game, just to say it easily. I've always wanted a co-op Batman game. I've always wanted to be, I love the idea of exploring Gotham with friends. Now, again, it maxes out at 2 players. I'm okay with that, though. It's not a live service game. It's not built around that. I love the idea of it being drop in, drop out. Everything about this thrills me and excites me. My biggest hope, going back years as we've leaked and covered all of our leaks and everything we've ever heard about this game, going right back to it, the first time we heard that there was going to be co-op in a Batman game, that was it. That was at the top of my list. We're getting that, so that fulfills it. I think the gameplay looks solid. I don't have a lot of quarrels. I really don't. I like the art direction. I like the aesthetic. I like the design. I'm really legitimately excited and looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a return to form. I think we're after so long without a sort of pseudo Batman game or however you want to phrase it. I'm very excited for it. And again, I do think Batman will ultimately be in the game and be alive. So, and then Eddie Brock, when and where do you think we will see Vision next? I do have a deeper dive on this. I do have some reports coming just in terms of rumors that I've heard and potential leaks that I'm working on that video. But when and where do I think? I think Vision fits in. I think Vision could fit in within an appearance in Agatha, House of Harkness. I think Vision could fit in with Armor Wars. I think Vision could even fit in with Multiverse of Madness because it involves, Wanda and their pseudo children. I think I think there's little, steps that could be taken where he could fit in with any of that. And then obviously, I feel like Vision's going to be a prominent figure the next time the Avengers unite and we have our growing roster of Avengers. But yeah, Vision's just that kind of character. this is going to be kind of biased. I love Vision from the comics. I love Vision and Scarlet Witch. I love those characters, and I think what Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen have done have been impeccable. I think they've done a great job, and I think they've really brought these characters to life. And so I already have a really strong love for them, and that's born from the comics. So there is no doubt a lot of bias in that. But I think characters like Scarlet Witch and Vision, I think they can really fit anywhere. They can really go anywhere in the Marvel universe and be a part of that story. You know, the only, if you even want to play devil's advocate, and the only argument you could make is, you know, when it's really grounded like Daredevil or, you know, or Punisher, obvious, you know, maybe, you know, you have to work a little harder to make them fit into that. But in terms of Doctor Strange, I think Vision fits in a great deal. In terms of Armor Wars involving the government, again, Vision's backstory, well, you know, the story of his resurrection, I guess, if you will, I think it all fits in really well there. Along with Agatha, I think Vision could have a role to play in Agatha House of Harkness as he rediscovers himself. So I think there's a lot of potential. Let's see. We have some comments on Transformers Rise. A lot of people saying it's going to be awesome. Alan is hoping that the game also has a Bayverse setting and design with a little open world too to have fun in. There's definitely going to be large scale environments. I don't know what you mean by Bayverse. To each their own. I'm ready to, you know, I'm comfortable, you know, with this. I feel like if any terms of Bayverse, like skins to purchase, you know, like if you want your Optimus Prime to look like he appeared in that film or what have you, I think that's the potential in terms of Bayverse. But I don't think we're going to see, just in the game itself, a lot of inspiration from the Michael Bay films, and I'm okay with that. But again, that's my own biases. I'm not a fan of of the approach of those films. Of course, we have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. WB finally put out a statement. It has been delayed to spring 2023. No month or specific date given beyond that. This is a story we've kind of been chasing for a little while now, and WB and Rocksteady have been pretty mum in terms of not saying anything. Again, the time was finally right, so they've said it. Okay, so One Shot, One Kill. Looking forward to Gotham Knights and Black Adam. Do you know if the AI controls the other characters you use in Knights if you don't play with another human? So the last time we heard about that in particular, and I don't think it would have changed within a couple of years, but the last time we heard about that was in 2020. And in 2020, they said, like, you're, you know, if it's just you playing, like if there's no co-op, the other characters the other characters are not there. So it will literally be a sort of solo experience besides maybe some select cutscenes. To be completely transparent, they were a little vague on how much of a role, you know, the other three Gotham Knights would play in terms of the story, but it was said that for the majority, and again, keyword being majority, so take that as you will, it's open to interpretation. For the majority of the game, if you're playing single player, it's just you. So again, we'll see how that plays out now and how much that holds true, you know, again, another couple of years later. Jersey the King is most looking forward to in terms of the DC films, Black Adam, and of course the Gotham Knights game. And I think we're all really giddy about that. I think just in general, I feel like, I think like if you're a DC fan, like if you're a fan of those characters, we've been on such a drought in terms of like gaming content. You know, we had Arkham Knight in 2015, and then we had Arkham VR. But again, Arkham VR was limited in terms of the player base. So we had Arkham Knight in 2015. And correct me if I'm wrong. I know that we've had Injustice, but again, Injustice plays to a different market. Injustice plays to a different market. DC Universe Online plays to a different market, just like Arkham VR plays to a different market. So I think the appetite's there. I really do. I think coming off of, especially, you know, the pedigree of the Arkham games, I think it could carry it. Now, obviously, it can only carry it so far in terms of marketing. So, you know, when the game launches, there's going to have to be really good word of mouth. But just because of the pedigree that Batman has in video games now, and I can't even believe I'm saying that. I mean, can you imagine, again, when I was growing up, superhero games you avoided. You know what I mean? it's crazy to think that now Batman has a pedigree of like it can survive just off. Oh, it's a new Batman game. Yeah, I'll be there. But the goal is now Gotham Knights has to meet those expectations in a way. It has to meet it has to meet the standard. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the quality, it has to meet that. And I'm excited, and I think W Montreal, I think they've done it. In my opinion, I really do. I think they've absolutely done it. So again, if you do have future questions or comments, if you're an Avenger, you can drop in on Discord. You can leave your questions and comments in the lounge. Anything you want to chat about. You can also DM on Twitter. Email us at gregsanderspresents@gmail.com. And again, you can also leave a comment right here in the video. I greatly appreciate everyone who reaches out, everyone who asks their questions, everybody who drops into the Discord. Very, very much so appreciate that. So thank you. And again, to my Avengers, thank you for your support and your sponsorship. If you are able, please consider sponsoring us on Patreon by assembling with us. Again, that is patreon.com/SandersPresents. While you're down there, again, all of these links are in the description below. You can join our Discord community. There's an invitation link. And finally, my debut novel, 89 Instrument of Destruction, is available to purchase now from Amazon. And you can pick it up by following the link in the description below. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share our content with your friends across social media. It helps immensely with YouTube's analytics and algorithms. Above all else, and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a marvelous day. Bye, everyone.